Hello, my dear students, and welcome back. I know your exams are just around the corner, and the tension must be building up, right? But please don't you worry. Your teacher is here to make this chapter, International Business, super simple for you. Cello, let's get you all set to score full marks.
Okay, so to understand this whole chapter, let's start with a little story. Let's meet Mr. Sudhir Manchanda. He has a small factory in Gurgaon that makes auto parts. Now, his business in India is doing fine, but he's got bigger dreams. He's thinking of going international. But his friend gives him a warning. He says, Sudhir, be careful. It's a completely different game out there. This whole chapter, beta, is about understanding the journey, the problems, and the huge opportunities that Mr. Manchanda is looking at.
So, what's our game plan for the next few minutes? Well, first we'll understand what this global village is. Then we'll see the big difference between doing business at home versus across the world. We'll find out why companies even bother to go international. We'll look at the different ways they can enter foreign markets, zoom in on the very first step, exporting, and then we'll finish with a quick revision for your exams. Ready? Let's do this. Okay, first things first. You hear this term a lot, global village. What does it actually mean? Just imagine, because of the internet, smartphones, and super fast airplanes, the whole world, it's become like one big village, one big mahalla. We can so easily chat with someone in America or sell our products to someone in Japan, right? Countries aren't isolated islands anymore. They're all connected. And because they're connected, business is happening between them all the time. So how different is this from our normal day-to-day business in India? Well, I have a perfect analogy for you. Think of it this way. Doing business in India is like playing gully cricket. You know the players, you know the pitch, you know all the rules. You even know which auntie's window you should never ever break. But international business? Oh, that's not gully cricket. That's the World Cup. You're facing different teams, with different rules, in different stadiums. The risks are much bigger, but so is the trophy. Let's just break down those differences. In our gully cricket or domestic business, everyone's from India, right? But in the World Cup, the players, buyers, and sellers are from all over the world. At home, we only use rupees, but internationally, suddenly you're dealing with dollars, euros, yen. It can get really complicated. And the risks? Oh, they multiply. In India, you're only worried about one government's policies. But when you go international, you have to keep track of the politics and laws of so many different countries. So the main takeaway is, it's a much more complex game. So, you're probably wondering, if it's so complex, why would Mr. Manchanda even think about playing in this World Cup? I mean, why take on all this extra headache? Well, my dear students, it's because the reward, the payoff, can be absolutely huge. Let's see what those big rewards are. The first and most obvious reason is more money. It's simple logic, beta. Let's say Mr. Manchanda can sell his auto parts for 100 rupees here in India. But if he sells them in the Middle East, he can get the equivalent of 150 rupees. So, where would he want to sell? Of course, where the price is higher. International markets can often mean much higher profits. Now, for the second point, imagine this. Mr. Manchanda's factory can make 1 lakh auto parts, but the demand in India is only for, say, 70,000. So what happens to the extra 30,000 units of capacity? It's just sitting there, wasted. By exporting, he can use his factory to its full potential. And when you produce more, the cost to make each item goes down. This is a very important concept called economics of scale. It's like getting a bulk discount on your own production. More production means less cost, which means more profit. And you know what's beautiful? It's not just good for Mr. Manchanda's company. It's fantastic for our country, for India. When our companies export, they earn foreign currency like dollars, which our country desperately needs to buy important things like petrol. It creates more jobs for our people, and it helps improve everyone's standard of living. It's truly a win-win situation for everyone. Okay, so Mr. Manchanda is convinced. He wants to go international. But how? Can he just pack his auto parts and send them on a ship? No, there are proper ways to do it. Think of it like a ladder to the world. Each step on the ladder is a different way to enter a foreign market with a different level of risk and commitment. Let's take a look at the steps on this ladder. So as you can see, the ladder has a few rungs. The very first, easiest step is just exporting what you make. As you climb higher, you find things like contract manufacturing, or you ask a company in another country to make your product for you. Higher still is licensing or franchising. Think of how Pepsi gives local bottlers the license to make and sell their drink. Even higher is a joint venture, where you partner up with a local company there. And right at the top, with the most risk but also the most control, is setting up your very own company abroad. Now, for your exams, and for anyone starting out like Mr. Manchanda, the most important step to understand is that first one, exporting. It's the simplest and most common way to get into international business. So let's focus on this one a little more. Okay, now, if you look at your textbook, it has a very long, very scary 17-step process. But don't worry, for your exam, let's simplify it into 4 main stages. It's so easy. First, you get an order from the foreign buyer. Simple. Second, you get the required government license, the Import-Export Code, or IEC, and you arrange for money from a bank. Third, you get clearance from the customs officials at the port. And finally, fourth, you ship the goods and you get paid. See? Simple, right? Now, in that last step, getting paid, there is a very, very important document you need to know about. I mean, what if you send all your goods to another country and the buyer just refuses to pay? That's a huge risk. So to avoid this, we use something called a letter of credit, or an LC. Just think of it as a promise letter from the buyer's bank. The bank is giving you a guarantee that you, the exporter, will definitely get your payment. It's the safest way to do business. Remember this term beta, it's very important. All right, my champions, it's time for the final lap. Let's quickly go over some important points and look at a sample question, just the kind you might see in your exam paper. Pay close attention now. Let's get you those full marks. So here's a very typical question. Explain any 3 benefits of international business to firms. Now notice it's asking for benefits to the firm, not to the country. So always read the question carefully. We just discussed this. Can you remember the points? Just take a second and think. Here are the key points you should write down. 1. Prospects for higher profits, because you can sell in countries where prices are higher. 2. Increased capacity utilization, which means using your full factory and getting those economies of scale we talked about. 3. You get amazing growth prospects, especially if the market in India is getting too crowded. And a 4th good one is you can escape tough competition at home. Just explain any 3 of these with a small example, and I promise you, you will get full marks. And now, before we finish, a little question for you to think about. Let's go back to our friend Mr. Manchanda. If you were his well-educated son or daughter, fresh out of college with all this knowledge, which of those 5 entry modes, the steps on the ladder, would you suggest for his auto parts business? And more importantly, why? Would you say just export, or maybe a joint venture? Think about the risks, the money needed, and the amount of control he would have. There's no single right answer here, Beta. It's all about your logic. And just like that, we are done with this chapter. See, it wasn't so difficult at all, was it? You've understood everything perfectly, and I am so, so proud of you. Just keep revising, stay confident, and you are going to do fantastically well in your exams. All the very best, my dear students. I will see you in the next revision session. Bye-bye.